Extra time with Gistin and Garakiremo. I'm very positive that you did have fun with that segment, but I do have another pertinent conversation. I have two individuals, very smart, very intelligent, and they're going to be sharing some information for you as a creative artist. Yes. What are royalties? What kind of, royalties are you entitled to as a creative artist within this creative industry? I have Andrew Kagwa, an arts and culture journalist with the Daily Monitor, and I also do have Dorothy Nabunjo. She's an artist manager, and she also joins us on set right now. Very good morning, Nabunjo.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Akagwa.
Good morning.
All right, let's start with the easiest question, Nabunjo.
Yes.
What are royalties?
Now, royalties, this is income earned by copyright owners from all your works.
Indeed.
Now, when you say copyright owners, usually people, also me, this word used to disturb me. So I'm like, how do we make it as simple as possible? So if you are a creative and you come up with a lyric, you come up with a poem, if you're a visual artist and you paint a piece of work, if you're a composer and you come up with a composition, if you're an artist and you record a piece of work, now you're entitled, that's the first step of owning your copyright.
Indeed.
So, but however, you have to go an extra step and register it so that you can own it. Because
Whether you're going to Performing Rights Society?
No. You have to go to URSB.
URSB?
Yes.
Uganda Registration Services Bureau.
Exactly.
All right.
Because the moment we can all here create something.
Indeed.
And it can stay within us. And we all have ideas. You don't know. Today I have an idea. Tomorrow you may have the same idea.
Indeed.
Now who owns it?
I see. Where does the plagiarism come from?
Exactly. So now, and if you go to court and you're saying someone
Plagiarized my work.
What proof do you have?
I have this copyright from URSB.
Now you must have registered it. However, if you record the song first and it goes up first, you may be entitled to your copyright.
Right.
But to be secure, you have to register it.
How does the Uganda Performing Rights Society come into the mix?
Now, I wish Anthony was here to explain his part, but now the UPRS comes in more in collecting royalties.
For the artist, after copyrighting your work?
After you've copyrighted your work and you've become a member, because they don't collect
for anyone.
For anyone. You must be a member.
I see.
You must be their member. Now, when you register with them, because for them they collect from radios, from TVs, from hotels, wherever your music is played. Because it's called public performance royalties. That's what UPRS does collect for you. Now, if your music is played on radio, if it's played on TV, it's played on in hotels, in bars, because these guys pay, it's called it's in bulk, it's called a bucket amount. So that's what usually they pay.
Indeed.
Now, if you're a member, Anthony should be able to explain this. There are percentages, the same way when you're streaming, how they show on Spotify, your song was streamed and downloaded and you earn this percentage. That's the same I think UPRS should be doing. So that's how you earn those royalties. But UPRS only pays you for your public performance royalties. And these royalties are actually the biggest percentage goes to the songwriters.
I see.
Not the recording artist. Now, and I think this is where
but in this day and age, it's the other way around. Taking more than the creator.
Exactly, and I think it's a disadvantage to the songwriters because they do not know this, and no one has educated them about this.
I see.
And we the people in the industry are cheating them.
I see.
You go to the songwriter. Yes, you go to the songwriter, you pay him whether 500, 1 million, 2 million, whatever you've agreed upon, and that's the end. And as much as artists are saying we are suffering, but they are the first people who are cheating their fellow creators.
There's this young man that did a song for Bebe Cool. There's a particular song, and I was like, this song is so good, but how much is this young man getting from that song? Because I was seeing Bebe Cool everywhere, he was getting all the views and so forth. But how do you understand royalties, my brother Kagwa?
I think just like you said, these are payments to an artist or to anyone, a creative, from their intellectual property.
Yes.
And well, when it comes to different things, for example, visual art, literature, film, and music, for music specifically, more people have to be compensated. And the one okay, the streamers, people that are putting up music on platforms,
Indeed.
have broken it down very well. Like there is a percentage that goes to the technical team, and then there is a percentage that goes to the artist for performing the song. Though when it comes to Uganda and the way we put out our music, it's a very blood thing. One, we release our music without detailing who did what. So most of the times there are chances that someone will not be paid. And then, of course, there are situations of people not knowing their rights. Songwriters at the moment do not know their rights.
Yeah.
In Uganda, where I'm not being mean when I say this, but in Uganda, where most of artists are not that talented, and you find...
Or they do not have the tools to actually expose their talent.
They are not as talented, but they are very lucky that they have very good producers.
All right.
So you find that the producer is actually doing much of the work. The producer is the magic, and literally the producer should be recognized as an artist on that particular song. But most of our producers do not earn a thing from that music they make, even when the people they've made the music for.
And of course, the story is different in Nigeria, because in Nigeria, the producer is the king.
I think it varies.
If you look at people like Rexy, you know, these people are doing great things. They'll come do a beat for you, and the beat will sell the whole song.
But it's because those producers are very exposed. Because it's a discussion I once had with someone from UPRS, that can producers get paid? And they're like, it all comes down to your contract.
But also the question is, who is a producer? Because you may be saying a producer, and yet you're talking about beat makers, you're talking about mixers, you're talking about... like we need to...
Okay. Now, there are different types of producers. One, I would call a producer a person that can actually guide you when you're trying to record. They can guide, they can direct, they can see the direction this song can go, and maybe they can even rewrite a few things, because they are kind of directing this whole thing. And those are real artists.
And do you know that most managers are actually producers from your explanation? And then you're giving the credit to the beat makers as producers.
What's the name of that Kasenyanku singer?
The guy who used
The
to be
Kasenyanku
with,
singer. He wrote a song for Bebe Cool. He did write a song for Bebe Cool. The song did so well. So those are some of the producers we are talking about. The writers. You create a song, but then at the end of the day, you're not benefiting. But then the artists themselves are benefiting more from that work.
I think it comes...
But songwriters have to benefit.
From that scenario, what can that young man do?
It comes back to policymakers. And right now, I feel like the government does not have the right people in the right positions.
Yes.
Because all these have to be passed by the law. Because if you're going to go to court, what are you holding this young man against?
Ray Signature. His name is Ray Signature, right.
So what is Ray Signature? Because when he made Bebe Cool, he paid Bebe Cool. They did not sign a contract. They did not stipulate if this young man is supposed to earn a percentage each time the song is played, each time the song is streamlined. So now that comes back to one, streamlining the industry, sensitization, and also having the right policies. Because right now we don't have the policies that guide the industry.
You know, I listened to the song and I was like, how come this song is so good? Bebe Cool doesn't author such good songs. Then I'm going to do, and then I do some research and I'm like, wait, Ray Signature wrote this song.
And it's not it's not a crime for Bebe Cool not to write music.
Okay, you see, at least one of the things I
was like, he should be writing more for Bebe Cool.
One of the things I've learned from UPRS is that at least even with their guidelines, a songwriter should be paid. But one of the most important things we have to do at the moment is sensitize the artists.
Actually, you need to sensitize the managers. You need to sensitize the people who run the businesses. Because I think one of the biggest mistakes that has been done is you always concentrate on the artist. The role of the artist is to create music. But they must have business people who help them make money or business sense out of their creation.
Indeed. So that they
You're
focus
going
on the creation.
On the creation. Now you're going to find that we have managers who are not aware of their roles, or they don't have proper understanding. All they know is artists are not call a hit. We need to create a hit. We need to put it on radio. It has to be everywhere. We need to make money, and that's all. So I think the first point is, can you sensitize? Can we sensitize the people who are in charge of the artist business?
Indeed. Are there even people who are in charge of this artist business? Do these artists have talented management that is professional and taking care of them?
That's a very hard one. Okay, artists have people they call managers. Some have real managers. Some just have people they call
He's throwing a
managers.
diss at us.
A sister or a cousin.
Like when I say people they call managers, someone will always look for a person that will listen to them, a person that will not tell them
Challenge
to do
them,
things
yes.
or challenge them. So
And this is a relative most of the times.
there could be a relative, there could be, like there is a story of someone I read, they started off by posting a lot about an artist, and then the artist noticed their posts and then invited them, and somehow they ended up being the artist's manager.
Wow.
Like just like that. And there
Pure
are very
feelings.
many stories of those fanatics becoming managers.
And emotions cannot make money in business.
And you see, okay, you see the relationship between an artist and a manager. By the way, we have
You don't have to like your
we
manager, by the
have a management association, managers association. It's called Wotama. So they are managers, professional managers. Some may not be professional, but they are professional
Indeed.
managers. Now, the relationship between an artist and a manager has to be based on trust. Yes, emotions have to be involved, because artists are in emotion roller coaster all the time. Emotions have to be involved, but you must also have a business side. You must be strong enough, very objective. But like you said, some of them, they are called and they're more of assistants and they're not managers. And artists, very few in Uganda, would like to work with professional managers. And sometimes people mistake management for record label. Someone thinks manager is the one who invests in the artist. The manager does not invest in the artist. You have a product, I believe in your product, we partner together, let's do business. Now that's a manager. Now a record label is where they're like, okay, I've seen your product, I have money to market you, now let me inject in the money for marketing.
Indeed.
However, I think people don't know all these things, and we need to reach a state where we can streamline the industry, and that's how everyone is going to benefit.
Indeed, Nabunjo, there are so many misconceptions. Imagine an artist thinking, my music would rather be there for free so that people download it, they get to know who I am as Rome Bisiko, the artist, and maybe when they get to know me, I could throw a concert. Andrew Kagwa, this is the biggest misconception of all times. Thinking that if I have my music free out there, I'm actually expanding more on my visibility, and then in turn I could throw a concert and make more money. Free music out there for that.
One of the okay, I think this is like the
But you
third time I'm
understand,
saying
this is the case. Many artists would
Yes.
rather have their music out there for free.
Yes. And you see, even after we started that whole call, like people get your music off free sites.
There was a backlash from the artists.
Most artists
Yes.
reacted by posting that they are #1 on HowieBiz. So
I mean, sometimes it's ignorance. Sometimes, so you don't need to be so harsh on them. Sometimes it's ignorance.
Go ahead,
so
Kagwe.
one of the biggest problems the Ugandan music industry is facing is that we have very many ignorant artists. We have very many artists that are not educated. It's a very bad state to be in when people do not understand their rights, or they do not understand the power of what they are doing. Now, many of artists believe the only way they can
Do
make
they
money.
even know that they are entitled to these royalties and other amenities that come with the works that they put out there?
When
Kagwa?
COVID happened, they started knowing that they are entitled to them, but still you could notice they do not know how they can get them, or because you see many of them that were complaining of not getting any royalties from UPRS are not even members of UPRS.
On that point of UPRS, Uganda Performing Rights Society, we have a member, a representative who is just joining us right now. Let's take a breather
That's a
so that
good
they
one.
can take on their seat. You're still
Then
watching Morning at NTV. Keep it here.
Non-members are making more noise.
Welcome back to the #1 breakfast show in the country, Morning at NTV. We have a representative from the Uganda Performing Rights Society. That's none other than Anthony Mwanda, and he is the CEO of the Uganda Performing Rights Society. He's going to be explaining to us what are royalties, what kind of royalties are you as artists, creatives, and so forth entitled to. Yes, he's here. Very good morning.
Good morning.
All right, we'll be having this banter with Dorothy, Nabunjo, Andrew Kagwa. We're talking about some artists who are clamoring for their money, saying UPRS is eating our money, but they've never even signed up with URSB to begin with. So first, break it down. What are royalties to begin with? Who is an artist? Who is a creative? Who is entitled to these royalties?
Okay. I'll run through it very quickly.
Indeed.
Look at it as a pyramid. At the top, there is an apex body which represents the various artists at the bottom.
I see, and that's you.
And that is UPRS. The purpose of UPRS is to collect user fees from the users, commercial users. Now, look at the commercial users
Like
as an inverted pyramid. So there are so many people at the top, and all that money is funneled down to UPRS,
Indeed.
and then UPRS funnels that money down
artist.
to the artist. Now, who is an artist? The artist, we use this very loosely, but let's talk about the creator. For every song that you listen to, there are 4 component parts. There is the songwriter, the guy who composes it.
Yeah.
Then there is the producer, the guy who puts in the music, the beat, and so on. So those ones are called sound recording rights. Then there is the performer and the publisher. Those are called mechanical rights. They are the ones who give life to music. For every song that is played, is paid for, the money is split into 4 component parts.
All right.
I'll tell you an example. There are people who have bought music. The late Kasiwukira bought hundreds of records. So whenever that music is played, we look at the face of the person who has impersonated the music, who has given it life. That person is not the only owner. The Kasiwukiras, the producers at the back, they also earn from that. So what UPRS does is receives that money and breaks it into the component parts. That wasn't done 100% in the past, but now we have cleaned up our register to a level where we're about 75% comfortable that we can split the money into all those 4 parts. So the person who receives royalties is any one of those 4 people.
Yeah. Let's use a live example. Red Signature writes a song for Bobby Cole, sorry. And yes, break it down for us. What kind of money will go to Red Signature and what kind of money will go to Bebe Cool as a performing artist?
Okay. The law envisages that the sound recording, that is
Who takes more money?
The songwriter and the producer take 60% of the revenue.
Yeah.
And then the performer and the producer take 40%. So Bebe Cool's proportion would be within the 40%. However, there are artists who do all 4 parts. People like Mesa Chisemakula. He's a songwriter, he's the producer, he's the performer, and the publisher for himself. So that will take 100% of all. Yeah. When you don't take 100%, then you split it into the component parts.
So the reality is here, the Nkuliyo song has made more money for Bebe Cool than it has done for Ray Signature. This is an injustice for the young man. There are so many people like him out there. So as it is, in this current form as we speak, what can this young man do and people like him?
Maybe what I should have said earlier is that there is something they also called commissioned works. I can pay somebody to write, sing, and perform, but I am the owner. So if Baby Cool invested in all those parts, rightfully he is the owner and he gets more money than the guy who produced it. Yes, that's how music is. The best scenario would have been to have an agreement written between all the 4 parts, which stipulates what proportion each one will earn. That's the best case scenario. That agreement has been at UPRS as long as UPRS has been there. Unfortunately, the creators of music do not know about this agreement. But when we register music and upload it into our database, we indicate who the producer is, the songwriter, and the percentages that they get. So when the money comes in, as it is going to come in, our payment gateway will split the money 4 ways into the 4 ways which are in the agreement. What has been happening in the past is that people sit in the studio, create music, and then the artist runs with a flash disk and comes to UPRS and says, that's my record. And then the artist gets 100%. but that is being corrected. Right?
You know, Anthony, artists have been grappling during this pandemic, left, right, and center. And I was wondering, where is their money from the Uganda Performing Rights Society? This money that we get from Google, over $1 billion annually. Why doesn't this money go a long way in helping alleviate the suffering of these artists who are not performing anymore, who are not allowed to go to the bars anymore? What's happening? How come you did not step up to the plate?
Okay. I don't know how much time we have.
You
but I'll
have
try to
enough
run.
time. You do have
try to
enough
run
time.
quickly
Trust me,
anyway.
we have an hour.
The money that came in through Google came in through an agreement which was signed in 2014 and had an automatic renewal clause after 5 years.
Right.
So that agreement was automatically renewed in 2019. That agreement stipulated that UPRS was working through an agent, a Kenyan company. The Kenyan company was selling our works internationally through a company called the Orchard in the US. So the Orchard and the Kenyan company had an 80-20 split. And then between Uganda and the Kenyan agent, we had 45%, they took 55%. So if we talk about $1,000 gross revenue, the American company takes 200 and gives 800 to the Kenyan. The Kenyan company then takes 450 and we keep 350. So that was the split. So while there was big money, the split was disadvantaged the Ugandan artist. When I came to UPRS about 15 months ago, I learned about this agreement. We tried to negotiate it with the Kenyan company. The Kenyan company said, you either terminate it or you take my terms or terminate it. The termination clause was very difficult. It said that I had to give them 6 months notice to terminate. I could never request a revenue audit unless I gave them 12 months notice. And it was tipped towards the Kenyan guy.
I see.
So against all odds, I terminated that agreement. So I terminated that agreement on December 18th. I gave them 6 months notice. I told them to take down all our works. I gave them 6 months notice. So the 6 months notice will end on June 18th. So it is my prayer that on June 20th, UPRS will start publishing music again directly with the American company. And that will give us better terms. We'll have 80% coming in as opposed to 35%.
In a nutshell, you're not promoting on any of this music?
No.
So what does that mean for the artists?
Think of it as an injection. In the short run, you'll get pain at the point of administering the injection.
This is
but
too
it
much
is
pain,
for
6 months.
Yes, yes. But we're going to get our music paying us in
80%.
perpetuity. Yes.
Andrew Kogo, what do you make of this?
Okay, I got the story from him the very first time.
Yes.
And it was very complicated, but it was also jaw-dropping. Because I think one of the hardest thing I could take from that was the fact that they could not be terminated.
Yes.
And two, if they were to be audited, they needed a 12-month notice,
Indeed.
which means that was enough time for them to clean up the books,
Yes,
to make everything look legit. When I got that information, I think I was asking him, why aren't artists getting paid? That was last year at the height of the pandemic. And of course, they had not terminated yet. They were just thinking about it. But yes, personally, I think it's a good thing. And when he told me that if they have to terminate, there's a 6-month notice, so artists were going to continue suffering.
Yes.
Like it looked like it was a very long distance, but when he has just said June 18th, like those are days away.
Indeed.
Like maybe better days are coming.
What's your perspective on this, Nabonjo? Is it good news?
It is good news. It was a bad deal.
Yeah.
However, like
35 against 80.
like I said, right now the industry is being streamlined. Maybe before, the people we had running the system were not aware about certain facts. However, having Anthony right now as the CEO, it gives us hope. And I believe we shall have more people registering under UPRS because
Indeed.
as people, as artists, or as managers, if your artists are not members, they're the ones losing out. Because if UPRS collects money, and however much your song is playing and you have the right to those royalties and you're not a member, you shall not earn that money.
Indeed.
And I think maybe before the mistake that was done, they were giving money to the top artists, so that the young artists, I mean, you can't complain. But now,
but you still remember how that used to happen? Like
an envelope.
it was an envelope, and most of the time it used to happen when, like, if you are a top artist and you are very vocal, because most of the times people are given money after they had been vocal.
Yes.
Like you go out and on social media and you're like, but UPRS, you're taking our money. So they give you a call and they're like, yeah, come in. So you get an envelope, a picture is taken, and
I see.
yeah. But with this, I think there's hope that people, all artists who are members, will be earning from their work. Not only artists, all creators will be earning from their work.
And of course, Dorothy Nabunjo, we were speaking before this conversation about how COVID-19 could have been a blessing, so that it provided an opportunity for the artists to sit back and reflect. Even the artist managers themselves, like yourself, and any other stakeholder within the creative industry, to streamline the whole creative industry. This is our only chance to streamline the industry.
Yes, and I really like to call upon all the managers, all the business people invested in the music, because I remember Akon when it was like a very short clip. He said, Uganda, the artists are very passionate, the people are very passionate, but they don't have the business side of the music, because we're asking him if he should invest and all that. And we've seen it because we have very talented people. Kagwa is saying we don't have talent. We have very talented people. Yeah. They may not be on top of the charts, but we have good talents. And all you need are the right people to invest in them. However, no one is going to put money where they're not going to see the profits coming back. So right now, like you said, this is the good time. Like it's now for us to streamline the industry, to streamline the businesses. People, let us know who's a songwriter. Who are the creators? What's the role of the business manager? What's the role of the promoters? Because right now we're having promoters, we're having music promoters. What are they? Do we have booking agents?
And promoters are becoming vocal than the artists.
Than the artists. Because for them,
I think I know of only one booking agent, that is Tilly Kamara.
So
the rest you can walk around and look.
Yeah, because you see, we should be, because right now the manager is supposed to do all those things, which is wrong. And I'm not blaming them. Now they cannot concentrate on what they are supposed to do, because you're the booking agent, you turn up being the promoter, the events manager, the PR, and all this have to be split. Because there's a lot of, like, this is a full economy if you look at the music business. But you're looking at it as, I don't know. Do you know those Chikumi shops,
Of course, a very good morning to Tilly Kamara. She is a professional booking agent. She did reach out to me, and we are working on a few deals on how best maybe I could join maybe some movies, maybe join a song as a video vixen, maybe do a voice on an animation and so forth. So meaning there are booking agents out there that could tell you what you actually deserve. Tilly Kamara will explain to you, okay, if you enter this movie, this is how much money you'll be getting. If you enter this song, this is how much money you'll be entitled to. If you want to work for this company, this is how much money they'll be giving you. So you need such a booking agent to spell out to you what you actually deserve when it comes to your works. Andrew Kagwa, streamlining the industry is really, really important. But what is the significance? Let's spell it out for the artists out there.
Like one, I'll first go back and say the hardest thing that's happening in this country is that we've normalized unprofessionalism. We've normalized we've normalized the whole thing of art being that thing that people can steal. And because I remember we had a discussion here when DJ Recom was around, and he was like, we are promoters, we are promoting these artists, we are giving them a platform. And
but where's the money coming from?
And you're like, okay, you're giving them a platform, you're getting adverts on your website, but what about the artist? And he didn't want to talk about that. As we're speaking right now, there is this court case that's cropping up. It also involves a TV station using a film of a Ugandan producer, but it was a collaboration between a Ugandan producer and a UK producer. So probably when they saw the film, they were like, this could be an American. He can't see us.
Yes.
So they showed the film.
And the guy was up in arms.
And the guy is up in arms. So like, and then when we were talking to that TV, they were like, but we found the movie on torrent, we downloaded it, and we were like, okay, so if you found it, does that mean you go on and show it?
Yes.
So we have this whole situation where people are like, art is something you can steal and get away with it without anyone stopping you because it's out there. So when you talk about streamlining right now, the significance is that an artist will manage to work like a what do they call it, 8 to 5, like an 8 to 5 person. Like you can work for some months, you can even go and get leave. Like, you know, artists right now cannot even afford not to perform for just a month, because they are literally living large, but they are more of hand to mouth. Like the moment they are off that stage, they are not making any money, and that's the reason why many of them right now are starting to look at these alternative ways they can make money. But one of the major things I think artists need to, they need to understand that UPRS can make them money if many of them have registered.
Indeed.
If they are many, they'll make the money. But the other thing they have to notice, which is a thing I'm saying like the 100th time on this show, is that we are not going to go back to 2019.
We are not. We just have to learn ways to, you know, adapt to the new normal. Anthony Monde, he talks about a situation whereby, you know, a producer of a movie, you know, worked with a UK conglomerate. They produced this movie. A local TV station in Uganda, you know, showcased the same movie thinking it was, you know, from someone abroad. In the case of that young man, are there any incentives from the UPRS to help him?
If I take it in the context of music, well, now, I'll tell you that first of all, that the UPRS is called a collective management organization for music. There is another collective management organization for film.
So you handle the music?
We do only music. There is another for film, which does exactly what we do. But I want to tell you, looking forward, I envision the biggest war in Uganda.
But even before you go to the biggest war, don't you think you need to merge as the people who handle music with the people who handle film?
You have the great sense of it. Indeed. The biggest war is going to be about copyright.
Indeed.
Now, for music and film, they have become merged into audiovisual. Because if I make a track, and then I make a video, strictly speaking, with the existing rules, the video belongs to one CMO and the music belongs to another. So we are merging, and we are looking at a joint licensing framework, which is going to be supported by the World Intellectual Property Organization and the regulator and other players, so that we can license jointly. What should happen is that the artists should learn that they own the works. The music, the film that I create is mine, but I have to have registered it. If you don't register it, if you don't belong to the collective management organization, you can't be protected.
That is Anthony Monde. First go to the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Yes, register for that work. And then you go to the Uganda Performing Rights Society.
Correct.
2, then you'll be handled as a member.
Correct.
All right, parting shots. Dorothy Nabunjo, recommendations moving forward, streamlining the industry.
One, I really call upon the stakeholders. Like, we need to think bigger and broader and see the future, because right now we're not going back. Things have changed. And if this industry is going to grow, we all need to have the right components playing out.
Indeed. Andrew Kagwa.
One, I will re-say what I said. We are not going back to 2019. We are not going back. Right now, you need to make your money off the stage.
Don't
and it's
put out
possible.
your music for free. Don't wait for a concert.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for this conversation. My name is Romy Busiku. We are going to take a very short breather and return shortly with some of your views. Members of the public, I have Stephen Mbide at AT NTV News. He's going to be talking to some citizens about the State of the Nation address. What are your thoughts? We'll be right back.